Hey everyone, welcome back to the Riffsphere channel. In this video, we're diving into configuring Unpackerr to monitor our starr apps and additional folders for extracting archives. In Unraid, head to the Shares tab. Open your app data share. Set export under SMBDS. And apply the changes. This allows you to access the app data share and edit the Unpackerr config file. The default debug setting is false, but it's recommended to set it to true, especially during the initial setup to troubleshoot issues. We'll keep quiet as false to view output without accessing the log file. The activity setting, when set to false, logs everything, ensuring you can monitor Unpackerr's performance comprehensively. Configuring log files is crucial. Use the log queues variable to set how often the queue should be exported to the logs. Choose a log folder in your mapped app data share and set Unpackerr to rotate logs. Initially, keeping 10 logs with a maximum of 10 MB each is reasonable, but you can adjust this to your preference. The interval variable controls how often Unpackerr pulls completed downloads in the starr apps. The default 2 minutes is suitable for most scenarios. The start delay determines the duration to wait before initiating extraction upon download completion if reported. 1 minute is typically sufficient, but consider increasing it for slower systems or when using a seedbox or remote share. If an extraction fails for any reason, Unpackerr will automatically attempt to extract the archive again. To prevent it from persistently retrying and potentially causing unnecessary loader errors, there's a setting called retry delay. This parameter establishes the time interval between each retry attempt. I'll maintain the default settings for the retry delay parameter. If multiple downloads finish simultaneously or if a download contains multiple archives, they'll be extracted one by default. If your system can handle it, increase the parallel variable to extract multiple archives simultaneously. The current web server functionalities are limited. I'll skip configuring it by setting metrics to false to disable the web server. Moving on to configuring our starr apps, there are templates available for Sonar, Radar, Lidar and Reader. Start by enabling the Sonar template. It's essential to configure the URL variable. Given that Unpackerr and our starr apps are on our custom network, we'll utilize the container name and the designated port. Ensure to set the corresponding API key as well. Next, we need to specify the paths where Unpackerr will search for files. These paths should reflect the full directory where the completed download is located. You'll need to include a path for each download client that does not support automatic extraction. The protocols variable is utilized to define the scope of monitoring. For instance, in my setup, I utilize SAB and ZBD for Usenet, which has built-in extraction capabilities. Therefore, I'll only monitor torrents and exclude Usenet from the protocols list. If your Usenet client does not have extraction abilities, you can add Usenet to the protocols list. Similarly, if your torrent client automatically extracts downloads, you can remove torrents from the list. Ensure all the essential completion folders are included in the paths setting. To avoid prolonged waits for communication errors, set a timeout of 10 seconds before considering Sonar offline. Once an archive is extracted, our starr apps can import the necessary files. However, archives often contain extra files that are not always imported. Although the starr apps generally clean up well, this might not always be the case with extracted files. Unpackerr can monitor our starr apps and remove leftover files once the import is complete. To avoid this action while files are still being imported, a delete delay parameter is available. If you've configured hard links as per the trash guides in my Unraid Media Center series, a 5-minute delay should suffice. Nevertheless, other setups may require an increased delay. We'll maintain delete org as false to ensure Unpackerr doesn't delete our completed download folder. Typically, we want to retain it for seeding, and our torrent client automatically removes it once completed. In the case of using SAP and ZBD for Usenet, we don't monitor Usenet downloads. Even if we do, our Usenet client should delete the completed download folder upon removing the download from its queue. Moreover, the starr app sufficiently manage cleaning up. Unless you're utilizing syncing, it's best to leave this option commented out. And with that, our first Sonar instance is configured. To add more instances, simply copy and paste the entire block for each additional instance you want to include. Adjust the URL with the corresponding container name and port, and ensure the API and path are correctly set. Repeat this process for all your radar, lighter, and reader instances, utilizing the corresponding template. The settings mirror the configuration used for Sonar. This covers extracting files for the primary 4-star applications, but there might be instances where we acquire archives we wish to extract through alternative methods. Whether it's through search and download using Prowler, manual downloads, utilization of tools like Mylar3, or even simply dropping archives into a designated folder, Unpackerr allows us to monitor specified folders for extraction. It's essential to note that only new or edited archives within subfolders will be extracted. Archives in the root folder or those already existing won't be processed. We'll enable folder monitoring for our first directory and define its path. Typically, extracted files will unpack into a folder marked with the unpackered suffix, positioned alongside the archive's parent directory. However, you have the flexibility to designate an alternative folder for extraction if required. If you wish for Unpackerr to delete files, you have the option to introduce a delay using the delete after setting. Enabling delete files will remove the extracted files. This functionality could be useful for cleaning up when utilizing automation programs other than the starr apps, which aren't monitored by Unpackerr. Additionally, enabling delete original will remove the archive after extraction, which may be suitable for manual downloads. Please note not to use this option for torrents, as you likely want to maintain seeding. Unpackerr generates a file detailing its actions next to the extracted files. If preferred, you can disable this feature. Additionally, you can configure whether extracted files should be moved back to the folder containing the archive. Enabling this option makes the extract path setting obsolete. You can also specify whether you wish to extract ISO files. If you need to add additional folders, simply copy and paste the entire block, similar to what we did for the starr apps, and adjust the settings as required. Unpackerr also has support for webhooks and command hooks, but these features are beyond the scope of this video tutorial. With these configurations, Unpackerr is now set up to extract completed downloads from our starr apps and process archives found in specific folders. To complete the setup, ensure to stop exporting the app data share by navigating to the Shares tab, selecting the app data share, and setting the export for SMB to no. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.